Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're journeying back in time to the cradle of civilization, the fertile land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Mesopotamia. This is where writing was born, where the first cities rose, and where humanity took its first giant leaps. But like all great empires, Mesopotamia's golden age eventually came to an end. So, how did this powerhouse of the ancient world fall? Stick around, because the story is more complex and fascinating than you might think. It's crucial to understand that Mesopotamia wasn't one single unified empire for its entire history. It was a region, home to a succession of dominant powers: the Sumerians, the Akkadians, the Babylonians, and the Assyrians, just to name a few. Each had their moment in the sun, and each fell for their own unique blend of reasons. So when we talk about the fall of Mesopotamia, we're really talking about a series of collapses and transitions over thousands of years, a domino effect of rising and falling civilizations. It wasn't one single event, but a long, slow decline. Let's start at the beginning with the Sumerians. These were the true pioneers. They invented the wheel, cuneiform writing, and built magnificent city-states like Ur and Uruk. But their success created a problem. These city-states were fiercely independent and often at war with one another. This constant infighting over land, water rights, and trade routes weakened them collectively. They were so busy fighting each other that they became vulnerable to outside forces. Think of it like a group of brilliant but bickering siblings, unable to present a united front. This internal division was a recurring theme that would plague Mesopotamia for centuries. Enter Sargon of Akkad around 2334 BC. He saw this division and exploited it. Sargon was a visionary, and some say the world's first empire builder. He conquered the Sumerian city-states one by one and forged them into the Akkadian Empire. For a while it worked. He standardized measurements, created a postal service, and built a powerful army. But empires are hard to hold together. After Sargon's death, his successors struggled to maintain control. Local rebellions flared up, and the old rivalries between cities resurfaced. On top of that, climate change, a severe drought, crippled their agricultural base. When you can't feed your people, you can't maintain an empire. The Akkadian Empire crumbled, and Mesopotamia splintered back into a collection of warring city-states. Next up, Babylon. The name itself conjures images of grandeur, and for good reason. Under the famous king Hammurabi, around 1792 BC, the first Babylonian empire rose to prominence. Hammurabi is best known for his legal code, a revolutionary set of laws that brought a new level of order and justice. Babylon became the cultural and political center of the ancient world. But again, this success was not permanent. After Hammurabi's reign, a series of weaker kings followed. They couldn't command the same respect or power. At the same time, new aggressive groups were on the move. The Hittites from the north, masters of iron weaponry and chariot warfare, swept down and sacked Babylon in 1595 BC. It was a devastating blow that ended the first great Babylonian dynasty. You might be noticing a pattern here. A powerful leader unifies the region, builds an empire, but after their death, internal weakness and external threats lead to its collapse. This cycle repeated itself with the Assyrians. The Assyrians, hailing from northern Mesopotamia, were the military superstars of the ancient world. Starting around 900 BC, they built a massive empire through sheer, brutal efficiency. They were masters of siege warfare, psychological tactics, and iron weapons. Their armies were the most feared force of their time, and they controlled a vast territory from Egypt to parts of modern-day Iran. But ruling through fear has its drawbacks. The Assyrians were famously harsh rulers, deporting entire populations and imposing heavy taxes. This created a lot of resentment and hatred among their conquered subjects. It was a powder keg waiting for a spark. Their empire was also stretched incredibly thin, making it difficult to defend its long borders and put down constant rebellions. The spark finally came when two of their subject peoples, the Babylonians and the Medes, formed an alliance. In 612 BC, their combined forces attacked and utterly destroyed the Assyrian capital of Nineveh. The fall was swift and total, a testament to how much hatred the Assyrians had inspired. The once mighty empire vanished from history, seemingly overnight. This led to the rise of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, perhaps the most famous iteration of Babylon. This was the Babylon of King Nebuchadnezzar II, the one known for building the legendary Hanging Gardens and the colossal Ishtar Gate. For a brief, glittering period, Babylon was once again the queen of cities, a center of astronomy, art, and architecture. It was Mesopotamia's last great hurrah, a final blaze of native glory. So what brought this final glorious chapter to a close? It was a combination of complacent leadership and the arrival of a new, unstoppable force from the east, the Persians, led by Cyrus the Great. The story of the Persian conquest in 539 BC is legendary. The Babylonian king, Nabonidus, was an unpopular ruler more interested in religious scholarship than in governance or defense. While he was away, the Persian army approached. According to some accounts, they cleverly diverted the Euphrates River, which flowed through the city, allowing their troops to march into Babylon through the dry riverbed, taking the city almost without a fight. And with that, the era of independent Mesopotamian rule was over. Cyrus the Great was a different kind of conqueror. He was tolerant of local customs and religions, and he incorporated Mesopotamia into his vast and well-organized Achaemenid empire. For the people living there, life went on, but the political power, the creative spark, now resided elsewhere. Mesopotamia became just one province among many in a much larger empire. It was no longer the center of the world. So, the fall of Mesopotamia wasn't a single event. It was a long, slow process driven by several key factors. First, relentless internal conflict. The city-states and kingdoms were constantly fighting each other. Second, environmental problems like drought and the salinization of farmland, which made it harder to support large populations. Third, the cyclical nature of leadership, where strong rulers were often followed by weak ones, leading to instability. And finally, the constant pressure from new, ambitious groups on their borders, the Hittites, the Medes, and ultimately the Persians. Each of these factors played a role in the gradual fading of the world's first great civilization. The flame of Mesopotamia wasn't extinguished in a single gust. It was slowly starved of oxygen over centuries until only embers remained. The legacy of Mesopotamia, however, is eternal. Their inventions, their laws, their stories, and their ideas laid the groundwork for all the civilizations that followed. They taught us how to build cities, how to write, and how to dream of empires. Though their own empires turned to dust, their contributions are woven into the very fabric of our modern world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through ancient history. What part of Mesopotamia's story do you find most fascinating? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the past. We'll see you in the next one.